All right, there we go. All right, welcome, y'all, to this special edition. Make sure my phone's off mute. There we go. So, as always, this is being recorded. Before I bring up our guest, a few announcements here in Indianapolis. Um, Coach Mack will be here next week on Thursday. Um, Also, we have our weekly meeting on Monday, and we have a presentation also in Carmel at the Donatos on Sunday. I'll make sure I post all the flyers up. And since Coach Mack will be here next Thursday, there will not be a webinar next Thursday because I'll be obviously at that meeting. All right, so I'm super excited. Bring up this guest person. So y'all know I've been in the travel industry for 3 years. But y'all didn't know who brought me into the travel industry. This young lady is the person who introduced me to the whole multi-level marketing travel business from day one. She found me on Facebook. Well, I found her, and I was probably one of her easiest signups. But she taught me online marketing. She taught me, everything that I know today. I've learned from shadowing her. And she had one of the biggest teams online in the previous project, one of the top income earners as well, to the point where she actually stepped away just to help other network marketers grow their business, right? So she made a business out of that. So I'm super excited that she took some time out of her busy schedule to come back and report into my team, exclusively for my team. So, I'm going to bring her up. She has a couple of things she would like to share, and then any questions afterwards, she'll be around to answer any questions that you may have. So, her name, you can find her on Facebook as Courtney Coach Razz, one of the good friends of mine for multiple years. And I'll just bring her up to the front. I think she's still in here. Courtney, you still on there? You got talking to your mic. Having some technical difficulties, I say. Court, can you hear me? Let me see. So Dan can stay cool where he tries to be cool. We'll check on stress about what it is. And we don't get into unused rules. Now we can't hear you. You got to turn your mic on. Just having some technical difficulties. Help control cravings and lose weight with contract. It is. To help adults who are overweight or struggle with obesity. Well, we can't hear you. And keep it off. Contract is believed to work on 2 areas of the brain. Your home center and your reward system. To help control. Look, I made you the host. See if that works. Thoughts or actions in some children, teens, and young adults in the first few months. Serious side effects are mood changes and convulsion movement, seizures, increased blood pressure, or heart rate. No, can you hear me? No, we can't hear you. You might have to join from your phone. Allergy to the ingredients or pregnant may cause electrical constipation, headache, and okay. So she's having some computer technical difficulties. She's about to exit and join by her phone. Oh, more announcements. I'll be in Detroit. I think I'm coming to Detroit next week with Coach as well. She's be there Friday through Thursday. All right, there we go. I tried talking now.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
I'm computer illiterate, so I apologize. I do everything from my cell phone, but my name is Coach Razz, and I appreciate Jay having me on. He has me on today. It'll be pretty quick, just to kind of give you guys some quick tips on how to grow your brand equity online. He let me know that you guys are all in travel and you do both booking and recruiting. So I have some tips for you to kind of help grow your sales or grow your team. As he said, I crossed paths with him on Facebook, doing basically what I'm going to kind of go into real briefly with you guys. I do social media coaching. I do everything. I started in travel and I saw that I could help people grow their teams. And like he said, I just kind of quit doing travel and just started teaching people in all network marketing industries. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to chime in. You can ask me questions as I go or at the end, whatever you're comfortable with. But I'm going to give you probably 4 or 5 quick tips on just how to kind of grow your brand. So what I do is also on Instagram. So what I'm about to go over will be good for both of those platforms. Now, the first thing that I would recommend when trying to brand yourself and grow your business online is transparency. That is super, super important because you're really wanting to invite trust from your followers by revealing that you have nothing to hide and just being honest with them. And that's not necessarily transparency with your business. It's just transparency with you as a person as a whole. I'm very private. I don't post a lot of personal information on social media, but I do give them a little insight of my life. You know, I have children. Sometimes they get on my nerves. Sometimes they do really well. You know, if I'm having a crazy day, whatever it is, I share that information because when you're dealing with people online, a lot of times you don't meet these people. And so in order to build trust and have them come to you and come use your services that you're offering, you want to offer that transparency. So that would be probably my biggest tip to you guys when trying to brand yourself. Another thing is value. You don't want to make your Facebook page or your Instagram page look like a sales commercial. So selling, every time you post something, it's kind of annoying. And, you know, sometimes people don't want to always see that. So value is really helpful because your social media should be an outlet that makes your company accessible to customers on a level that your website alone can't provide. And it's also free information, and people love free. So with you guys, since it's travel, when I say value, I would recommend travel tips. Or when I was heavy into the travel industry, I know I had a lot of travel tip Thursdays. And so on Thursdays, I would schedule 3 posts for the day, usually 3 to 5, with just tips on travel, whether it was what was the best day to book travel, the time of day to book it, how to pack my clothes, what types of things to do if you're traveling abroad, where to hide your cash, just all types of things like that that people don't think about normally when they're traveling. So you always want to offer value to them. Now, if you're not booking travel and you're focusing on recruiting, I would recommend the value be the benefits of your travel industry. What is it that they're going to receive by joining your team, whether it be some one-on-one training that you offer to your team, or you know, the benefits that the company offers, whatever it is, you want to offer value to them so that, you know, they're interested. Because a lot of times your website it offers the information, but maybe it's not in a way that they understand it. So you always want to offer value in your post as well. Another thing that's big is telling your story. My story, when I got started heavy into the travel industry because I was divorced. And at the time I was a single mom of 2 kids, and I literally was robbing Peter to pay Paul. So a lot of times what I would do when I first got into it and I was growing my following and trying to get customers and team members is I would tell my story about 3 times a week. And it would literally be what I just told you guys in one big post, and I would attach a picture to it because visually people love visual posts versus just a long drawn out paragraph. So I would always tell my story of, this is how I got into the travel industry. These are the benefits that it offers me as a single parent. This is how I'm going to eventually quit my job. And I just tell your story, because whether you believe it or not, even if people are not commenting on your post or liking your post, they are still watching you. And a lot of times, even if you think your story is very small and not very important, there's somebody who your story resonates with. So I would say when in the beginning, especially if you don't have a big following and you don't have a big clientele or a big team, tell your story all the time. I don't care what it is. If you're married and you're working, but you just hate your job, talk about it. Because there's a lot of married people out there who hate their job and they want to come, they want to travel the world. So tell your story, be transparent with it. Like I said, I would tell it about at least 3 times a week. As you grow, you probably won't tell it as often because you'll have people will know who you are and they'll know more about you, but definitely tell your story. It's very, very beneficial to marketing yourself as a whole. And then things like posting emojis when you make a post, regardless of what it is you're talking about, emojis are very, very important. They are, I believe it's 33% high. You have a 33% higher share rate when you make a post with emojis. Your comment rate is about 32% higher, and then your like rate is 57% higher. So when you make a post, don't go crazy, but make a post and use 2 or 3 emojis because, again, it's visual and that's what gets people's attention. So I use a lot of emojis on my value post and when I'm telling my story because that's what attracts people. So definitely use a few emojis when you're posting. Also attach pictures as well. And if you're even comfortable with being on video, I would go as far as making a video as well because videos rank higher than anything on social media. So I would do a video. If you're not comfortable with videos yet, then definitely use pictures. If anything else, I would try to stay away from just text posts if it's not super important and you're not trying to use it as a recruiting task because people look at them, but they just don't rank as high in the algorithm. And so, like I said, visually, it's just pictures and videos are just better. So definitely use emojis. If you are utilizing hashtags, that's great. However, on Facebook, they are not as beneficial the way they are on Instagram. So if you're using hashtags on Facebook, I would say use 2, maybe 3 hashtags at most on the types of posts that you're trying to get seen in front of people. If you are on Instagram, you definitely want to utilize the 30 hashtag maximum. Now that may change in the future because the algorithm with Facebook and Instagram is constantly changing. But as of now, I would say use 2 to 3 hashtags on Facebook and try to use all 30 hashtags in your post on Instagram. And you can even go as far as making the post with the hashtag on Instagram and then going into the comments section and adding additional hashtags. Just be mindful of how you're creating those hashtags and make sure they're targeting your type of customer or the type of team member that you're trying to bring on. Because if you make a whole bunch of hashtags that have absolutely nothing to do with the post, then it's kind of pointless and you're not really winning there. So be active on the right hashtags because they generate and they help you find consumers who are interested in what it is you're doing. I don't use Twitter. I have a lot more to say than what Twitter allows me to type up. But if you use hashtags on Twitter, the engagement rate is, I believe, 21% higher on the tweets that have just 3 or more hashtags for Twitter. So if any of you guys use Twitter, that's use the hashtags as well. But as far as Instagram and Facebook, utilize it. Um, because I know like Instagram posts, they see the most engagement with, like I said, the max is 30, but I would say use a minimum of 11, because once you hit that 11 mark, that's kind of when it drives the targeting up. So just be mindful and don't just target correctly when you're using the hashtags. Um, and then another good tip, I don't know if any of you guys use memes, but memes are actually pretty widespread. I'm sure you guys have seen them. If you're on social media, you're familiar with them. Um, memes are just cultural behaviors that spread from person to person, and that gives you the opportunity to potentially go viral. And that's really good for your business in the long run when you do go viral, because memes, most people don't screenshot them anymore. Most people just hit the share button. And so when they hit the share button, of course, they see it comes from your Facebook page, their following sees it, some people from their following share it, and so on and so on. And so when you use memes, make sure it's directed towards, what it is, your ultimate goal. I always tell my clients, like, post with the, even if it is something that has absolutely nothing to do with your business. I know a lot of times I've been a little lazy because I've been sick recently, but a lot of times I will take pictures of like my kids, or maybe if we're out doing something. If you don't want to make a meme, you can use a picture of maybe just your lifestyle as a whole. And that is, those pictures convert really well too, because when you use those pictures and you use a caption that is very, very attractive, people are kind of like, okay, well, you're traveling again. What is it that you do? Because while you're out traveling, I'm stuck at work. Or, you're at lunch with your opportunity. What is it that you do? So always just be mindful of your posts and post with the, but ultimately when it comes to your social media, you want to follow the 80-20 rule. And so 80% of your posts need to be you being you, whether that be dinner, you out with your family, you watching TV, just random whatever. And then that 20% of those posts can be about your business, or what it is that your ultimate goal. If you're trying to recruit, if you're trying to book some travel, whatever the case may be. So I think that's all I got for you guys. I just had some real quick tips to kind of help you brand yourself without looking like a sales pitch all the time, because that's what I see a lot of people do, and it's just because they just don't know. A lot of times you get into MLM, and some of the higher ups in MLM, they do a lot of weekly meetings, and weekly meetings are great. But if you want to also utilize social media in addition to your weekly, just don't always use social media as a sales pitch. Be you, like I said, be transparent, offer really great value, because again, it's free and that's what brings people in. Tell a story, use emojis, hashtags, just have fun with it. So that's all I got for you guys.
Well, thank you for that, Miss Courtney Raspberry.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Did anybody have any questions?
Oh yeah, I had a question. I got questions.
Oh, Lord.
So you said about hashtags, and I do a lot of hashtagging, but what's the proper way, and what type of results can you get from hashtag?
So for me, in regards to hashtags, my personal experience is I've had a lot more success with them on Instagram. Because what happens is when people see hashtags, a lot of times, especially if it's something attractive or catchy, they click on it. Even if it's not something you posted, it may be something someone else posted with that same hashtag. So they click on it, and they're scrolling through all these posts with this hashtag, and they stumble upon your value-filled post, and then they come to your page, they see your page, and it's like, okay, Jay has all this amazing information, or, he travels a lot. What does he do for a living? I want to travel. And that's kind of how you attract them in. So I'm not saying they don't work on Facebook. I just feel like Instagram and Twitter in particular were kind of created and kind of focused on hashtags. So I would just recommend using them on those two platforms, and just kind of use it as a targeting tactic, really, more than anything.
So you said use 25 hashtags. Is that what you said? Did I hear you correctly?
Well, on Instagram, you can use 30.
So do you use 30 or just is
I use 30 pretty consistently. I would use at least 11 because, like I said, 11 minimum is what triggers them to kind of your post with those hashtags to start kind of showing up in the algorithm and other people's news feeds. So you don't necessarily have to utilize all 30 hashtags, but you need to utilize at least 11.
Okay. I'm taking notes. I'm still, I'm learning too. Okay.
And also don't use numbers or like the and sign or any punctuation marks in your hashtag.
Why is that?
Is when you use the pound sign and you start using letters, once a punctuation mark is added into that, the boldness of the hashtag disappears at the point of the punctuation mark and everything after. So if someone clicks on that particular hashtag, it'll only be everything from pound and all the letters up into that punctuation mark. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So numbers and punctuation marks, don't use them.
That's good stuff right there. Hashtag the mess out of my post. Okay.
Basically.
Well, at this time, first of all, thank you, Miss Courtney Raspberry. It's been a while since we appreciate you coming on. Feel like it was last minute, but you rose to the occasion. Appreciate it.
I wing it. But yeah, because you may not have questions right now, something may come up tomorrow or next week. You can get with me on Facebook at facebook.com/they call me Razz, and that's 2 Z's. And I'm super, super active on Facebook. I pretty much live there, but I'm also pretty active on Instagram as well. And my Instagram is at they call me Razz. And that's where I am on Instagram. Or you can get with Jay and he'll connect you with me. But, like I do this for a living. I help people all the time. So if you have any questions, just reach out. I don't mind helping you guys grow your travel business. I've been there.
I wish it was on a computer so they could see your Facebook. So they know how to find you. But I'll put a screenshot in the group chat. I have my own group chat on Facebook.
Okay, perfect.
So I'll take a screenshot and I'll post it up so they know exactly what it looks like. Because I think you have like 2 or 3 pages.
Yeah, well, I have one personal page, and I think I have 2 business pages. I'm waiting on them to close those out.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, so I'll post your page up in the group so people know how to get in contact with you.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have any questions? Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Come on, Margie. I know you got some questions. Margie
how you gonna call me out, Jay?
Margie always got the questions.
I'm trying to soak everything in, and of course I am taking notes. But since he said, "Do I have a question?" I guess I do have a question. I was gonna just hit you up on Facebook. So right now I'm just on the marketing side, and I did want if you could go a little bit more in depth on how to market on Facebook, because when I first joined, I did put like a link and I gave like a thank you shout out to Jay and then the other young lady, LaDonna, that introduced me to it. But that was pretty much all. And then of course I said, my husband and myself will be accessible. You can inbox us. And then, like I said, I put the Planet Marketing link, what have you. So could you maybe give a couple more examples of just some other tools, how we can market on Facebook, just being that, again, I'm just right now on the marketing side.
Now, when you say marketing, are you talking about, I guess, how to just get people involved in Planet?
Right. Because I have not enrolled on the travel side yet. So yes, like you were saying, just to get people like enrolled, maybe some catchy things I can say, about Planet Marketing. or the network. So because like I said, I've only put one thing on since I've been on, and we've been just kind of telling more people about it.
Right.
Was just kind of want to know like if there's anything else we could put on Facebook.
Right. So let me tell you this before I forget. Send me a friend request and I will personally go through your Facebook page and give you a free Facebook assessment. But what I typically tell people is to stay away from the company name. And the only reason I say that is not because PlayNet is an amazing company. I was a part of it. The reason I say stay away from the company name is because sometimes people, especially if you happen to be dealing with people who maybe have never been in network marketing, or they've been in one or two companies and they had a horrible experience.
Right.
What happens is when you put like, hey, this is what I'm doing, here's my link, join my team kind of thing, it looks very, very salesy, which you don't want. And then B, sometimes people will just copy the name of your company. They'll immediately go to Google and then you lose them like immediately. They won't even come to you, ask any questions or anything. And that's what you don't want to do. And that's why I tell people it's so important to brand yourself and not necessarily the company. So that's what I would refrain from doing. Obviously talk about the company, but don't necessarily say, hey, I'm with PlayNet Marketing or IntelliTravel. Because like I said, people are weird and they just automatically assume. And then sometimes then it goes into the whole tunnel of, oh my God, what you're doing, you have to, have a startup fee. Why don't you have to pay to start a job? So to avoid all of that, still give them the information, just don't give them the name of the company publicly. But connect with me on Facebook and I'll still look at your page just to kind of go through it and give you some tips that can help you get started.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And I think I saw Shelly's hand was raised. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Yeah, I think Shelly may have had to go back to work or something. She's not.
Oh, okay. Because I saw her hand go up. Okay.
Yeah. So is there any other questions?
Anybody else?
I see Art in here. What's going on, Art? Remember Art?
Hello, stranger.
Clifton, you got a question, man?
No, not right offhand.
Okay.
Not right offhand. How everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing good.
Sound excited. You don't sound happy.
I'm just tired.
Oh, okay.
Been a long day. Yeah.
All right. So, any more questions before we let her go? You better ask her now. Ask her now.
Don't be shy.
Where do you mentioned that you had yeah.
What's going on, Art?
I gotta have this thing on mute. Anyway, you mentioned when you had your travel thing going, you had travel tips Thursdays. Where were you going to get your travel tips to post on your site?
A lot of it came from my traveling headaches. Like, because I, especially when I was in the travel industry, I still travel quite a bit, but at that time I was traveling pretty often. So like if I had a weird experience in a hotel or the airline offered like an amazing perk or just anything like that, I literally would write it down in a notepad as I traveled of everything. And then I would utilize that information over the upcoming weeks for my travel tip Thursday. But you also could just go to Google and literally Google travel tips. And it'll pull up a million different websites and images and things like that that you can take and kind of look into and then make your own posts based on what you read.
All right.
Good question.
Yeah, that was a real good question.
Thank you.
Look like the old game back together again.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. Any other questions? That was a good question. I took that down. Travel tips.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Y'all are so quiet. I cannot believe this. I normally get with people and I have to kind of be like, okay, I gotta go.
Well, you'll probably get a lot of inboxes after this.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure. Because like I said, this is being recorded. And so there's a lot of people that couldn't make it today because, they're still at work or whatever the case may be. So when I post it up in the group, like I said, I'll take a screenshot of your Facebook. And I tell them to just say, hey, Jay sent me. And so you'll get a lot more, so you'll know who they are and where they're coming from.
Okay, cool. They're not stalkers.
Yeah, right. Like, hey, I've been following you. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, y'all just let me know what you need and I'll help you out.
All right, right on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I got to get ready for my presentation. Thank everybody for coming out. Thank you, Miss Courtney Raspberry. It's been a pleasure.
Of course.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Thank you.
it. So
You're
now
welcome.
I got to meet the person who actually introduced me to the business. She was actually my sponsor in the previous project.
And he was not exaggerating. He literally was my probably easiest sign up ever. I think he commented on a post I made.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him a message and was like, hey, this is what I do. And he was like, okay, cool. What's your link? And he literally signed up all in a matter of probably a 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was easy.
Because it was travel. Because I was like, hold on, is this real? And then she said something about like if Disney or if you said something like one of our partners wouldn't deal with us if we was fake. And I said, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's how I talk to people. You don't want to be rude, but I have to tell people straight up, in travel, because you will get that question, is this a scam? And it's like, I mean, do you think Disney's going to work with us if we're a scam? I mean, people just don't think about stuff like that. So sometimes you have to just kind of tell them, I don't want to say you want to make them feel stupid, but you kind of have to just say it like that. And then they'll either be like Jay and be like, oh, you know what, you're right. Or they're just going to be one of those people who still feel it's a scam. And those are the type of people you just have to stay away from, because you can't convince someone who is closed-minded. You just can't. And there's no need in wasting your time or your sponsor's time getting on a three-way call, because once they think something is a scam, they think it's a scam. And then it got to the point where I would ask people, well, no, we're not a scam, but what is a scam? And a lot of times they can't even tell you what a scam is. So, people.
Yeah, I get that all the time. That's a pyramid
weird.
scheme. Well, what's a pyramid scheme? Explain to me what's a pyramid scheme. Oh, it's just.
And some of them will tell you, you're just taking money from one person and nobody's getting paid, which is true. That's basically what it is, but that's not what Planet is. So you have to kind of just dummy it down for them, essentially, and they'll either have that light bulb go off, or it's just a lost cause. There's no in between.
So true. I've been there, done that. So true.
But yeah, just reach out to me and let me know what you guys need.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Everybody enjoy
welcome.
the rest of the night. Like I said, it's being recorded. After we end this call, I will post this video up in the chat, just in case if you need to refer back to it for any notes. And I also will post Miss Raspberry's Facebook, her picture, so you know how to get in contact with her. But once again, thank you, Miss Raspberry, for your time. And hopefully we can pull you back in a few weeks or so.
Just let me know.
Okay.
I'm always down.
Right on. All right, y'all. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
You do the same. Take care.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Right.
Bye.